Good afternoon, party people. Got a lot of stuff to do today and not a lot of time to do it. Fresh off work, this is completely unplanned, but we had some parts come in today and I need to kick ass on getting it done. A small pick list of items here, and we'll get more in depth about this later. I'm gonna clean this off, pull it out, and get something new in here. This is my pretty new to me E46. This is a damn near bone stock car. I've done some small things here and there. I put a fresh transmission in it. Got a short throw shifter. It's got a DW250 fuel pump underneath the engine bay, bone stock. Small things here and there. Put some banging tunes in the trunk. It's got a nice exhaust, but that stuff's boring. I mean, look at this. Look at these wheels. Look at this offset, look at this ride height. If I'm gonna be daily driving this car, it needs to look cool and it needs to drive even better. Everyone knows, besides maintenance, the first thing you do to a car is wheels and coilovers. That's where these two things come in. First of all, we've got a nice set of impars. These are 18s wrapped in a set of two 1540s. These are gonna be perfect for the fitment I'm going for. And the second thing, the sponsor of today's video is gonna be helping us out with. These are the Max Speeding Rod T7s. This is their latest line of coilovers for a very wide variety of cars. This entire set here can be purchased for $4.99, and they're very well built. You've got very thick aluminum CNC top hats, dual way camber adjustment, 24 separate settings of dampening on the front and rear. You've got separate preload and ride height adjustment. It's got a nice rust-resistant coating, and it's not that cheap hollow junk you're gonna find on eBay. This set comes with the front coilovers and the adjustable rear struts. We've got the adjustable spring buckets for the rear and the rear springs, as well as two adjustable coilover wrenches. If you want to pick up a set of these things for yourself, you can use my discount code will.dsm. It's going to be in the description below, and get 10% off anything site-wide. Now, of course, as always, I'm going to jack this thing up, put it on stands, yank the wheels off. I'm going to put my hair up and get to work, because I've only got a few hours to get this done. The suspension assembly on these is just slightly different from E46's all up front. The rears are pretty much exactly the same. You've of course got your three top hat nuts up top. And then on the bottom here, it's this 118 mil for the slip collar. Pull this out, it can be helpful to get some WD-40 or PB blaster around this edge, because sometimes these struts like to really get stuck and seated in this knuckle. And then just your 116 mil for the sway bar end link. And you yank it all out of the car. This car in particular has some aftermarket, real cheap control arms, and these ball joints don't have enough play to push this knuckle all the way down to slip the struts out. So I'm gonna have to do a couple extra steps and actually disassemble the strut while it's in the car to be able to pull this out. It's a little jank, but it's much better than taking the knuckle off and disassembling the whole control arm from the subframe. And you'll see that as we go through here. I've got the suspension compressed. I'm gonna take this top hat bolt off. Again, please don't do this. This is a problem that only I'm gonna have because I have really cheap aftermarket arms, and that's next up on my chopping block to remove. So I'm gonna lower this down, and you're gonna see that spring alleviate some tension. Now I'm gonna grab off that 18 mil on the knuckle. Allow us to get this bracket back. I'm gonna pull the top 13s up so I can get this top hat and spring out of the way. Lovely. A little bit of a hassle. There we go. Not exactly the ideal method for removal, but in a scenario like me, it makes it a lot easier. So for these front coilovers here, we've got, of course, preload adjustment right here on this ring for the spring, and then your actual ride height adjustment is this lower collar. In the case of this car, I want it on the ground, so I'm going to adjust this collar all the way up. I'm happy with the preload that's already set on these. We'll lock it up and it should be nice and simple. We're just going to toss this in the car and put the 3 top hat nuts in hand tight. Now the important part is you can see on your camber adjustment, you've got your zeroed out state here. So up towards the right is going to be negative camber, towards the left is going to be positive camber. So you want this side facing inwards. So we're going to install it just as such, get it all hand tight and assemble the bottom. Wonderful. You're going to see on this bottom bucket, you got a little nub here. You want to center that backwards. That's going to slip right between this collar here to make sure that it doesn't spin freely. And keep your sway bar mount set up on the left side of the strut. We can use a jack to move this knuckle up and start slipping that coil over into the collar. As you're raising up, it's good to kind of get your hand back here and feel the nub. Make sure it's lined up with the mark in the collar. So about right there should be good for me. I can keep going up with it. You want to make sure that you're completely flush between the coilover and the sleeve. We're going to go ahead and line this bracket up. So now that we've got everything set up and where we want it, we're going to use the included coilover wrenches here. I'm going to kind of set these collars up where they need to be and snug them down nice and tight, just so that none of these collars are going to move and adjust the suspension on us when we want it to stay still. So alongside installing coilovers, there's a few things you can do on these cars to really improve the experience. You want to get adjustable sway bar end links up front. You want to get camber arms and toe plates for the rear. It's going to allow you to maintain your front sway bar stiffness alongside being able to get the alignment in the rear completely straight. But in my case, all I have at the moment is camber arms for the rear. My toe plates are coming in the mail, and I don't have adjustable sway bar end links for the front yet. I'm going to temporarily eliminate my front sway bar for now until I can get proper end links. Same for the rear. We're going to go ahead and just keep stock arms, keep stock plates, just throw the coilovers on for now. So now that the hard part's done up front, we can do the fun part. Brother, look at that. That offset is perfect. Those camber settings are dead on. I'm very happy with that. So now, for the easiest part of the whole installation are the rears. You've got two 13 mils up top behind your trunk lining for the top of the strut, and one 18 mil on the bottom. Other than that, the trailing arm drops down for you to be able to wrangle the spring out, install the new one, and put in the new buckets, whether you like to use those or not. You can see that trailing arm completely drop down. That'll give you enough room to get up in here and work that spring out. I don't like to use the buckets or adjusters for rear springs on these cars. These cars rake as it is. They can use all the lowering in the back that they possibly can get. Now in the back, you've got two 13 mil nuts for this strut. Just kind of pull your trunk lining back and you can easily get to these and lap them out. Wonderful. There you go. Now, similar setup for the rear as we did for the front. except you've only got one motion of adjustability on these struts. I'm gonna pull this ring all the way up and bring this collar all the way up because I'm putting the springs in without the adjusters. So now to install the rears, we're gonna use a little helper. What? So I'm gonna hold the struts up in place as our helper sets these nuts up in here and threads it on hand tight. You're wonderful. All right. Invest in helpers. It makes it very worthwhile. So of course, the coilovers alongside the rear springs included in this package are rear buckets and adjusters. Very simple on these. Sets inside the spring, and you've got these collars here that let you bring the spring height up and down. I want to dump this car. I want it to be very low. So we're only going to put the springs in. We're going to reuse these rubber retainers from the stock springs. Pretty simple. This one I like to set up and snap into place without the spring. The lower retainer, you get it removed, and I usually set this on the flat end. So I'm going to set that in the car, put that in the bucket, and we're going to push down as such. There we go. That'll line up the spring into both of the retainers. Since it's at full droop without the strut bolted up, you can see it's a little bit loose, but it's not coming out of those retainers whatsoever. So now we're going to use the jack, get onto the trailing arm, and we're going to line up this lower bolt for that strut. Now we're going to snug this collar up nice and tight. We don't want any movement out of this after we get it set up. Now we're going to move back here. We're going to snug these up. Wonderful. That concludes the coilovers, and with a little bit of movie magic, the driver's side is magically done. So I just dealt with some stuff off camera for a little bit. This tire was leaking at the bead. Had to finish up the rest of the suspension stuff. Let's toss this wheel on and see how this car looks on the ground. I'm excited, man. Okay, all right, don't pull it on. Come on. Come on. Wow. Wow. That looks fucking awesome. Front is beautiful. Look at this front fitment. Wow. Yeah, the rears are gonna have to come down a little bit. We'll address that later. But holy shit. That's a win in my book. That sure as hell made the car a lot cooler. I'm gonna wrap this up for tonight. Shit, we got the car done. It's on the ground. We'll come out here tomorrow and go for a little test drive. It's been about 2 weeks since we put the car together, put it on the new wheels. I've spent that time dialing it in, adjusting it to exactly where I want it to be, and it's been great. So I ended up stiffening up the preload up front a little bit, and we brought the dampening down a little bit in the rear to make it a little softer. On top of that, chopped off about a ring and a half on the rear springs, trimmed them down, and it locked in that ride height exactly where I want it. And let me tell you, man, the car looks killer. I couldn't be more happy with it. Over the last 2 weeks, I've driven this thing well over 1,000 miles. Been from Tulsa to Dallas, went up to Little Rock, on top of daily driving the car. And I've gotten to experience all of the pros and all of the cons. It's been great, though. I'm super stoked, super happy. Like I said, big thank you to Max Speeding Rods for sending these out and giving me the opportunity to throw these on the car right now and get it out of the way, get it done. And I hope you're looking forward to the next part, where we're going to be putting on all of the alignment necessities. So we'll be throwing on camber arms, toe plates, some adjustable sway bar end links up front, on top of putting the sway bar back in so that we can adjust the sway bar preload. But for now, I'm going to love the car. I'm going to enjoy the car. I'm going to drive the car. If you want to get set up and look this cool, drive this cool, like I said, be sure to use my code WILLDSM. Get 10% off any of the Max Speeding Rod products in their catalog. Link will be in the description. Code will be in the description. And I'll see you next time.